Well, good evening, guys. I'm back in the newsroom after watching a few interesting, interesting shows on other news that I've been reporting on. So, just to start this off, it is going to be about immigration. There's a crisis on the border. This is a disaster. You can't label this damn thing any different. I'm sorry. It's a mess. It's a mess. No media is being allowed there to see what's happening. It's a media blackout. They said they were stopping illegals. The border was closed. That's not true. Okay, just to give you guys a rundown, and I do, legal immigration is completely right. It's got to be that way. Our relatives south of the border, yeah, they have a very big, they should have a better chance in some senses to come here, especially Guatemala, Honduras, Brazil. They really need help. Those are some bad places, guys. It's bad down there. But you got to think of this. Okay, let's go back to 1840 and 1850 again. So in 1840, 1850, the Irish potato famine brought 4.5 million people here in 10 years. 10 years. That was steamboats and sail ships. Just so anybody missed my last articles, my last newscasts. So between 1820 and 1870, 7.5 million people that we know of landed on Ellis Island, and some landed in Florida. And 1/3 was Irish, 1/3 was German. Now, 1/3 of those Germans were just economic migrants fleeing Germany. Okay. Now, Ireland had a huge death toll. It was like 750,000 people died for the potato famine. It was bad. People were starving to death. But they were utilized as soon as they landed here to beat the South, to go to war, and so be it, they were sent west to fight the indigenous native tribes of the Americas trying to fight westward expansion. They conquered an entire continent with immigration. So, immigrants are willing to work for less. They're just happy to have a place that's safe. And I can understand that. That's completely right. And but we're in an economic crisis. We're in a pandemic where Biden's going to put three more $1 trillion towards infrastructure. That's debt money. Unless he figures enough is going to die of Social Security through COVID. And the people coming up ain't going to have any Social Security, so he's not going to owe them anything until they build Social Security. So, just to say. Okay, so every 2.5 minutes, a migrant youth from more than likely Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, El Salvador crosses the border. We can't handle this amount of people. And again, the media's been pulled away. There's a lot of holding facilities. They're putting up $90 million of your money, your debt taxpayer money, is going to house illegal immigrants. 90 million. We have homeless people everywhere. We have insurance through the roof. Can't afford it. The price of goods and services through the roof. Have to give the population money to spur the economy. $1.9 trillion in funding money just went out the window to spur the economy. Okay? But 90 million just went to house people that are crossing our borders illegally and breaking our laws on immigration. That's fact. But they're coming here. They need to be processed. These people are seeking asylum. We can only take in so many people every year. You can't flood the country with low-wage earners. What's that going to do to the rest of us? They're lower-wage earners. Someone could do your job receiving government subsidies. They can work for cheaper because they're getting subsidized by the taxpayer, by the money they stole already. There you go. Our troops slept on the ground at the Capitol. They wouldn't even give them hotel rooms. Okay, they're still, I imagine, sleeping on the ground, or in miserable conditions, but they're putting $90 million to house people that are flooding the border right now. Okay. Went through no media down there. There's a blackout. It's being censored. There should be every media outlet, independent media outlet out there videoing what's happening, documenting what's happening, how many people are actually flooding the border. Not happening. It's going to have to be on the northern border, too, where they're going to be flying and processing people. How much money is going that direction? Busing people. Release, catch and release, DNA test, swab, and off they go into America. This is going to cause a catastrophic burden on our social systems. It's going to just catastrophic. You're talking, I can tell you right now how many people are suspected of coming across the border. 1 month. 250,000 people. 250,000 people in a month are going to cross that border. Projected per Fox News. Projected. 250,000. You got to think about that. 4 months, 1 million people. That is a low estimate. Just in my opinion, low estimate. Okay, the Farm Work Act they just passed. All you have to do is work 180, 190 days, 2 years. Okay? 2 years working on a farm as a visa holder. You and all your children get citizenship. You're entitled to all the benefits of being an American. You get subsidies, welfare, Medicaid, dental. I don't, have dental. I can't get my teeth fixed. Not fair. Not fair. Hardworking people. Hardworking people. But you got to remember there's a process, and Americans should come first. Okay? Should come first. We have 500,000 people homeless in America. We have more than that are on the brink of poverty, millions and millions. We have 11 million people unemployed at least. Right now, accepting government unemployment, we're going to shove, 1 million people in 4 months here at a minimum. And then we're going to legalize another 1+ million farm workers on the spot for their 190 days of service working for a private interest. And we're going to give them full citizenship plus all their children. Not good. This is horrible. This is the actual flood. This is what you don't want during a pandemic crisis, economic crisis, anything like that. We haven't seen this type of migration in the United States like when I explained 1840, 1850, 4.5 million people came through. Look what they did. Look what they did. Manifest destiny. Destroyed the native peoples, wiped them out, built infrastructure all the way to the west. So, back to the news. So they're telling the kids, this is what's been happening. So the reason why this migration crisis is happening in Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Brazil, and other places all over the world, they've been telling them, come here. You look it up. Fact. Biden said it himself. Rush the border. They're telling them they're going to get everything free. Come here, you get it free. Yeah, instead of going through a process in Brazil that's still happening, or Guatemala, Honduras, wherever it's happening, they can still go through a process and get up here if they're a minor that's in trouble. And seeking asylum is one thing. But when you have, hey, free stuff, get across the border. Once you're at the border, you're free. You can't be deported. No matter what happens, you just run. We have to pay for this. We're in the middle of a pandemic. How many people from Brazil? You guys got to think about that. The Brazilian strain's killing a record amount of people. And the vaccines are somewhat not even really effective. They have no data. They have some data. Okay, it's going to help. You're not saying it's going to stop it. Isn't that amazing? Because the Brazilian strain is 61% more deadly than the other 2 strains that were here. The South Africa strain is more deadly, more contagious. Okay, so if it softens the blow, it's great. If it works, it's even better. But why are we importing, 10,000 people into our country every single day running across our southern border? A lot of them were not even checked. Just like, take a swab, bye. We have been social distancing and wearing masks, shutting down businesses, not allowed to gather with our friends, watching a total flood from California, running from this communist governor that thinks he's getting kicked out or being, eliminated because of racism because he's a white guy. Newsom. Utah's being overran by people moving here, buying everything up because of the communist tactics you did in your state. And you're just allowing people in. You supporting this, Newsom? This is the way it's going to be? See how that works? Cheap labor. Cheap labor. Government subsidized workers all over the place. That's how you keep wages down. Okay, so let's move on. The free stuff. You get free hotels, $90 million. What could we do to the homeless with that, huh? Think about it. What about the airplanes flying people to the northern border to process to dump them into the northern states' chains of vote? Didn't think anybody thought about that, right? So, yeah. The National Guard was sleeping on cement. Nobody cared. Some got really sick. Fentanyl. All the other nice drugs that are coming across the border. Who's responsible for that? Biden? The Democrats? How many more kids we got to bury? How many more addictions are we going to cause by the mass amounts of fentanyl and other drugs pouring through our southern border with no checks and balances? They can't handle it. If I said they can't handle the amount of people coming through, it's out of control. They can't even stop them all. They're just too many. How much heroin? How much meth? How much meth, guys? It's on our streets. Fentanyl's killing people left and right. Different drugs just pouring into our streets. Senators are saying every state in America is now a border state. I don't know about you, but when we're not getting paid very well, houses are $300,000 to $400,000 to $500,000, the rent's $1,300 to $1,200, and it's $500 to $800 for a bedroom to rent. Kind of makes you wonder how many people are going to fill these other apartments and how much government money they're going to have. Why are they building these gigantic apartment complexes everywhere? Looks like Soviet-style apartments all over the place. Because there's millions and millions and millions of people coming. Millions. Literally. Not just one, two. We'll have a million right here at the Farm Act. Poof. DACA, 4 million people. That's 5 million people legalized overnight. Qualify for everything. And then we have 250,000 is going to rush the border in a month. Minimum 250. That's just the very beginning of it. We haven't hit the total of it. So when you go to find that apartment for $1,300, you got to pay for it. On the other news, I can't stay happy about this. We can't. We just can't. We've suffered so much in the past year. Our lives have been completely pummeled. Completely pummeled. To the point of arrests, shaming, fights, arguments, losing jobs, getting sick, and now they're just flowing through. The pictures of migrants and the kids in the facilities, they weren't social distancing at all. That was the only thing that escaped the Biden regime's youth centers. Somebody brave enough to take some pictures that was actually allowed in there. So, senators saying, they're saying every state's going to become a border state. Drugs flying through the U.S., nobody cares. Nobody cares. The human price, nobody cares. The cartels are singing, they're loving it. They're probably pushing so much drugs to this country. You can't report the news when our entire country has been in a Gestapo death march of 500,000+ Americans buried and dead. Uncles, brothers, nephews, cousins, whatever. Grandmas, grandpas, buried, gone. Social Security for those people stopped. Taxes came in because they got death taxes. They're going to raise the tax on the rich, and they're going to raise the tax on corporations. Meanwhile, everything just went up. Inflation, well, of course it did. Joe Biden's going to pass a $3 trillion bill for infrastructure. Who do you think is going to fill those jobs? They're getting millions of immigrants. They got a whole workforce coming. The Irish is coming across the border again. In an indigenous sense, by the way. These are indigenous natives. Most of them. Some are from Yemen, some are from Syria, some are from probably Afghanistan. They've already caught several people. A few people they've only caught that are from other countries because it's only catching on. This is only catching on now, guys. The people that were ready for this are rushing us now. This is the land of opportunity, but when the Irish potato famine happened, when the mass migrations happened from Europe, the country was changed forever. You call it good. Yellowstone's the only place that's left that's good. We have bastions of wildlife left, of hunting and fishing. But when you bring in millions of people, you destroy the areas that they go to. Look at Cedar City. There's people climbing all over everything. Everything. There's no peace anymore. We call this good. But that's a mass migration of monetary money, rich money flying into California. From California, just vacating, running, because they knew this flood was coming into California. They knew it. There's no way they didn't know this was going to happen. They were going to win the presidency and they're going to take over. They're going to just flood the borders. Those are all voters.